July the 26th to August 11th, 2024 on LN 24/7 Network. Olympic 2024 game live on LN 24/7. Watch all the action as Nigerian stars shine the catch the thrills. Catch the thrills, and all passion of world's biggest sports fiesta.
Yes, finally we are here. It's a beautiful morning, cool Saturday morning.
Yes,
very important detail.
of course.
And you are welcome to the weekend edition of the morning show this morning. Weekend with yours truly.
Yay.
How are you? Hopefully you're having a great time. Hopefully you are resting. That's what weekends should be for. I'm Zoe McDarlington Esada.
I'm Olasubo Kurman. It's great to have you join us this Saturday morning. It's been a beautiful week with the rains.
Quite eventful week.
Very
eventful
eventful indeed.
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm excellent. I'm good.
You're talking about rest.
Well, rest, yes.
We're resting right
people
now.
like us, we catch our rest wherever we
catch it
can.
one way or the other.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
What we love. You know, we ain't complaining.
At all. At all.
Hope you're having a wonderful time. It is a weekend after all, and part of the reason why we are here is to make sure that your weekend goes flawless, it goes beautifully. You know, you just have all the joy and the pleasure that you ought to have on a weekend. So we've got a lot lined up for you that we can guarantee. So how about we go straight into it and let you know what is coming up next on the morning show this Saturday. All right, we start coming up next in the news. 10 states in Nigeria are battling flooding. Nigeria's government warns that 21 others are at risk.
And in our discussion today, we'll look at child nutrition and if parents are causing diabetes in their children.
Also on the morning show this Saturday, our weekend hot topic. It's all about finding holistic solutions to the challenge of flooding in the country.
And also on the show today, we will be exploring lifestyle changes in order to improve our mental health.
So you can see there is a whole lot coming up for you this Saturday morning. So again, you know how they say, stay glued, stay with us, and we will do this thing together. So stay with us.
Maintaining a youthful and vibrant demeanor isn't just about appearance. It's also about how we feel physically, mentally, and emotionally. While some aging is inevitable, there are habits we can adopt to feel more energetic, joyful, and vibrant at any age. Equally important are the habits we need to let go of to reclaim that youthful vitality. Here are 7 habits to kick for a more youthful and vibrant life. Avoid a sedentary lifestyle. One of the biggest culprits in accelerating the aging process is a sedentary lifestyle. The exact definition of a sedentary lifestyle is when someone spends 6 or more hours per day sitting or lying down, and they lack significant physical movement in their daily life. Sitting for prolonged periods can lead to muscle stiffness, reduced flexibility, and decreased energy levels. You can combat this by incorporating regular physical activity into your routine. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days of the week, whether it's walking, swimming, dancing, or yoga. Movement not only keeps your body strong and agile, but also boosts mood-enhancing endorphins, leaving you feeling more youthful and vibrant. Improve your diet choices. The saying, "you are what you eat," couldn't be more accurate when it comes to aging. Loading up on processed foods, sugary snacks, and excessive alcohol can accelerate aging by contributing to inflammation, weight gain, and sluggishness. Instead, focus on consuming a diet rich in whole foods like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. These nutrient-dense foods provide essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that support cellular health and combat oxidative stress, helping you look and feel more youthful inside and out. Don't forget to stay hydrated. Failing to maintain proper hydration is a habit that can sap energy levels, dull the complexion, and contribute to premature aging. Drinking an adequate amount of water each day is essential for supporting overall health and promoting a youthful, vibrant appearance. Sleep properly. In today's fast-paced world, sleep is often sacrificed in favor of productivity or entertainment. However, skipping sleep not only leaves you feeling tired and irritable, but also accelerates the aging process. During sleep, the body repairs and rejuvenates itself, supporting cognitive function, immune health, and overall well-being. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night by establishing a relaxing bedtime routine, avoiding screens before bed, and creating a comfortable sleep environment. Avoid stress and negativity. Chronic stress and negative thinking can take a toll on both your physical and mental health, leading to premature aging and diminished vitality. Engage in stress-reducing activities and cultivate a positive mindset by practicing gratitude, surrounding yourself with supportive people, and reframing negative thoughts into opportunities for growth. By minimizing stress and negativity, you can enhance your resilience, optimism, and overall youthful glow. Establish a skincare routine. Neglecting a consistent skincare routine is a habit that can lead to a dull, tired-looking complexion and accelerates the aging process. Establishing a daily skincare regimen tailored to your skin type and concerns is essential for maintaining a youthful, radiant complexion. Protect your skin by wearing sunscreen daily and using skincare products containing antioxidants and moisturizers to combat the damaging effects of UV radiation. Feeling youthful and vibrant is within reach for anyone willing to adopt healthy habits and let go of detrimental ones. By prioritizing physical activity, nourishing your body with wholesome foods, getting adequate sleep, managing stress, protecting your skin, stimulating your mind, and nurturing your emotional well-being, you can reclaim the vitality and zest for life that defines youthfulness at any age. Start today by making small changes that will have a big impact on your overall well-being and outlook on life. Cheers!
All right, that's some tips for you, habits to unlock youthful vitality. And it's not magic, it's not some magic formula. It's basically doing the right things, you know, applying those healthy lifestyles that will help your body, eating right, exercising frequently, and the whole lot. I mean, you saw it in that video. It's really, really not rocket science. Although some people make it seem that way.
No,
I think people are always looking for a shortcut. That's the problem.
Shortcut. The shortcut is to drink water.
Just drink
that's what I tell myself. Just do what you have to do.
Absolutely.
And you will have that youthful glow that you really been looking for.
Yes. All right, but it's time for us now to take a look at some news updates. These are things that have happened or that are trending in the news, things that have happened recently or within this period. So we're going to go straight into it. In our first story, 10 states battling flooding, 21 others at risk. FG warns. So Nigeria's federal government says at least 10 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, has either experienced various degrees of flooding or recorded casualties as rains intensified. Let's have the visuals for that now. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, the Professor Joseph Utsev, who dropped the red alert during a press briefing in Abuja, warned that 21 more states might be suffering from flooding. He stated this against the backdrop of the Wednesday downpour, which grounded businesses and commercial activities in Lagos and Ogun states. Utsev explained that the annual flood outlook by the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency released in April had predicted that 148 local government areas in 31 states fell within the high flood risk areas. The affected states include Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Borno, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, Edo, Imo, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, and Kebbi.
Wow, it's really serious. So the heavy downpour that was experienced here on Wednesday seems to cut across many states.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It wasn't just...
And the floods that, you know, came as an aftermath of that. And then to now make it even more interesting, the rain didn't even get to stop. It's just was like continuous, you know, over and over. Maybe in some parts it just died down for like a few minutes and then it picks up again. And then you look at a situation where this issue and then the federal government issuing this warning alert about that there will be more. So what we should be looking at is solutions on how to, you know, curb the floods, because you can't stop the rains.
It's a season, and season will come with its, you know, with its own features and characteristics. So there's always going to be a rainy season, there's always going to be a dry season. What we don't immediately know is how extreme or severe each of those seasons
might turn out to be.
But for me, and for as long as I have been in this town, I think this one is rather unprecedented, because we saw videos of cars being some partially submerged, some totally submerged in areas that you wouldn't even expect, like on the highway.
On the highway,
That for me was shocking.
And we had to, you know, see the authorities come out to look for ways to actually, and I think that was quite innovative for them to come out and look for ways to divert the floods, and later the highway, you know, cleared off. And that is quite something to really note indeed, because that particular area that there was a major, that's where you're going towards the mainland, the island. That's the third mainland bridge. When you're just entering into the third mainland bridge. That place is not usually prone to floods. So it was quite very shocking indeed. Very shocking.
Yeah, but that's it. So we will talk about that in more detail, but in Lagos State, the Lagos State government even went as far as apologizing to residents for the floods and the disruption that it has caused, because we saw some other videos of some homes, you know, where furniture was just floating on the waters. It was quite a sad sight to see. But yeah, and so the rains are not even over. You know, we're being told that we're still in it, that we still might be experiencing or going to be experiencing more flooding in the coming days. So we'll see how that pans out. All right, you've got the next story, SP.
In another development, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, has threatened to shut down varsities across the nation and will on Tuesday protest countrywide to press home its demands. SANU and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, that's NASU, have been in talks with the federal government over the 4-month salary arrears owed their members. It had some months back embarked on a warning strike and most recently gave the government a 2-week ultimatum to meet its demands. But the union is accusing the federal government of making promises and not matching words with action, threatening to cripple activities on campus nationwide if their demands are not met. According to the SANU chief, if after the protest the government's group, if after the protest the group's demands are unmet, they will take the next action. Now,
I think we had a talk about this last week
on Tuesday.
On Tuesday as well.
Yes.
I really I'm concerned when I hear such news, because it just sort of highlights a pattern with which government has been responding to things of this manner.
Yes, especially when it comes to education.
Exactly. I feel they just calling their bluff, let's see what you're going to do, let's see to what extent you're going to take it until they act. It is then that you want to start negotiating. It is then that you want to start, talking. It is then that you want to start making compromises. But now is the time
to take the right action.
To take the right action. So why do we have to wait until we get into a strike action before the right things are done?
And then again, we look at it from the other aspects. Yes, there's been demands, but crippling the academic system or university system won't really, I don't think that will produce a desired result, so to say. I think at this point in time, government and the academic unions should start looking at other means of generating funds for the universities.
Yes.
And then you talk of, okay, maybe having it privatized totally, or bringing in a private-public partnership.
Exactly.
In making sure that our university systems are actually, functioning the way they ought to. Because when you look at other climes, those are the kind of things that you see. You see a public-private partnership where they come together and make sure that the university system is sustained. Because, fine, academics, education is not cheap. It's not cheap, yes. And then you're looking at the situation where maybe the government is probably overwhelmed because they're not really even doing much. We are just, at this level, we're still talking about having salaries and maybe allowances being paid. But at this point in time, we should be looking at our universities being research institutions where other forms of research are being carried out, maybe in science, in technology, in agriculture. These are the other things that should be, should be explored at this point in time. Just beyond the fact that, more beyond the fact that salaries are being owed, what's it called now, allowances are being owed. They've not even talked about the facilities of, the institutions itself. The other day I heard in UNIBEN, that's University of Benin, students protesting this time around because there has not been electricity and water on campus. So much so this protest almost got out of hand, and then the VC had to shut down the school. That was as at, I think, Thursday. Yes, I think it's Thursday morning. That was when this news filtered in. But we need to, find out how the situation in University of Benin is at this point in time.
Yeah.
Why am I saying all of this? Fine, there are issues, but will strike resolve these issues?
I don't think so. I mean, as to from what we've known and what we've experienced in the past, they would go on strike.
And they'll continue on that strike
until everybody gets tired. Are we not tired of the strike action yet?
Come on.
You are right. I totally agree with you, when it comes to revenue for the school system and how that institutions must now begin to also think outside of the box to contribute towards the school's revenue. You know, I agree with that. But I do think that the major grounds really for these particular organizations was the fact that they had paid their counterparts ASU some arrears. You understand? I think about 4 months or so. They had paid them that backlog of salaries. And they're wondering, so why are we left out of it? Is it that we're not as important? Is it that you know, that are they more important? Are their functions more important than ours? You know, like classrooms don't need to be swept. Clerks don't need to be paid. And this like this one is seniors and then non-academic staff. So why? If you're going to pay one, pay all. Pay all. I think that was where the growls initially came from. And then, of course, while they are at it, they begin to look for, you know, other reasons why they must go. But I do think that this can still be avoided. All government needs to do, like they have been doing, is to, you know, reach a middle ground. Let the dialogue, the conversation has to continue so that we avoid some of these things. I think they can be avoided. So let's. All right, our next story takes us to Niger State, where commuters riding in tricycles have been advised to always patronize those that are registered to avoid unforeseen circumstances. The Niger State Commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Joachim Okafor, handed down the advice when his men arrested a suspect for allegedly robbing 2 victims using the same mode of operations. We have a report.
Niger State is currently witnessing road construction across the 25 local government areas, including the metropolis, with various diversion points and alternative routes. But men of the underworld, especially riders, have resorted to taking advantage of the situation to commit various crimes. The Niger State Commandant of the NSCDC, Joachim Okafor, said through a combined effort of their routine patrol teams and undercover personnel, have successfully arrested one of such suspects known as Abubakar Aliyu with 4 handsets and recovered a tricycle.
Number has been arrested. So, I'm advising the general public. If you are entering any Kekena paper, please check if there is the number. When their number is not there, please don't enter that Kekena paper, because that Kekena paper is for defrauding people.
2 of the suspects, Solomon Sanda and Aliyu Jibrin, who recounted their ordeals, said they were able to recognize him at a hotel, making his arrest possible.
Actually, we don't go anywhere. They say they don't change direction, they are not going to particular again. Later, they say, may drop. As I drop, then I drop. As they pass, I come check myself, no any phone again. They snatch it.
He said that he's going 400. I say no, I will give him 250. Then he said no, 400. I say to me, stop. As he stopped, I then drop. I can't realize that my phone is not with me again.
The suspect, Abubakar Aliyu, confessed to committing the crime but pleaded for forgiveness. Commandant Okafor, while warning commuters to be careful of boarding unregistered tricycles, said his command would continue working to safeguard the lives and property of residents.
This bag, normally you can see the number here, but this one is totally clean up. But with this plate number, we can still identify the true owner or the Kekena paper. So they are not going anywhere. They must be in our net.
The commandant therefore commended the gallantry and professionalism of the operatives, who he said have once again shown that they are committed to protecting lives and property in the state.
All right, they're happening in Niger State, and I think it's a valuable information or valuable tips, because usually when people are up and about, they're trying to get to their destinations. They don't always have the time to look if the tricycle is registered or not, or has a number. But I think you know, in these climbs, I think it's key. It's a wisdom to just, you know, sort of take a look, even for e-cabs, you know, you're advised, take a snapshot if you can of the vehicle, of the number, tell someone. Something like that, just for security.
You can't be too careful.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that's a good one for the NSCDC in Niger State. That's a good one for them, and you know, assisting the police in making sure that criminality is avoided, criminality is contained in Niger State. All right, SB, you've got the last story for
We have a story from the international scene now. Britain's incoming Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, on Friday promised to rebuild Britain as he took office as the UK's new Prime Minister. This follows the centre-left Labour Party's landslide general election victory that ended 14 years of conservative rule. In his first speech, he said, and I quote, "Now our country has voted decisively for change, for national renewal and a return of politics to public service." End of quote. Rishi Sunak considered defeat during a torrid night for his Conservatives that claimed that the seats of at least 12 of his senior cabinet colleagues. Head of State King Charles III asked Starmer to form a government during a meeting at Buckingham Palace. Officially appointed the 61-year-old former human rights lawyer as Prime Minister. Let's see the report.
We need a bigger reset, a rediscovery of who we are, because no matter how fierce the storms of history, one of the great strengths of this nation has always been our ability to navigate a way to calmer waters. From now on, you have a government unburdened by doctrine, guided only by the determination to serve your interests, to defy, quietly, those who have written our country on. You have given us a clear mandate, and we will use it to deliver change, to restore service and respect to politics, end the era of noisy performance in the mission of national renewal. Our work is urgent, and we begin it today. Thank you very much.
All right, a new dawn in the United Kingdom with a new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, or Starmer.
Keir Starmer.
Yeah, Keir Starmer. And it was a landslide victory for the Labour Party in the UK, toppling the Conservatives with a decisive blow. It was decisive. In fact, we were sharing behind, off the cameras then, that one of the former Conservative members called it an electoral Armageddon. You know, to tell you how serious that was. Toppling the party that has been in power for the past 14 years, talking about the Conservatives, the Tories, and yeah, so right away, you know, they don't waste any time.
Exactly.
He won the election. And next thing, he's having a meeting with King Charles III, who has asked him to form a government. And, you know, everything has already started. Meanwhile, the former Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, had to apologize.
Wow.
I think he had to apologize, because how does under your watch you lose the number of seats? They almost lost like 250 seats collectively.
Wow.
You know, with this landslide win. He had to apologize. Like, what is this? You know, what is this?
They'll have another chance next of election.
Well, yeah, and you know, like we also talked about the fact that if you have majority in the UK Parliament, you need less interference
from other parties, or from the opposition,
to make laws or to decide on things. So for now, they have the majority. So
majority carries the vote.
Right away, we are going to see in the next couple of days, we're going to see swift changes to
the UK government,
absolutely, within the British, you know, environment, and it will be very interesting to see how the new Prime Minister is going to carry on. I always enjoy when they debate
on the floor.
It is so entertaining.
And
I'm like, my goodness.
Very, you know, put together.
Put together, but very heated. And I'm thinking, how do they do this?
They are English.
Like, you know, you need to be prepared because they can come at you vehemently for something you did, or something you said.
Exactly.
And you have to be ready to defend your actions, your policies, your decisions.
And this brings to mind when they were trying to, there was the Brexit, when Victoria, well, no, I'm trying to remember her name now, the Prime Minister, the female Prime Minister.
Liz Truss, is the one that, yeah, she was there for barely
for a
few
while.
days or so.
And they had to keep on going back and forth on why the Brexit and why not the Brexit. And we watch them like, oh, wow, this is a long one.
Wow.
Long one indeed. So,
well, congratulations to UK's new Prime Minister. We, of course, wish you all the best, and even hear from Nigeria, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has also conveyed his congratulations. And Labour Party leader, Peter Obi, very delighted, has also conveyed his congratulations to the new Prime Minister. So we will be watching closely to see what he is going to do differently and sort of bring Britain out of, you know, the whole economic depression, economic problems that they have been having. You know, they're not the only ones, but it's been rather tough for the United Kingdom. All right, well, this is where we leave it. Remember that we always do have updates on these news stories when we bring you our flagship news bulletin called News Now, exclusively here on LN 24/7. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we will be back with our hot topic, our weekend hot topic. And like we mentioned it before, we're going to be looking at the recent challenge of flooding in different parts of the country. We're going to be looking at it, what has government been doing, what haven't they been doing, what have been the challenges, the problems, do people themselves have a role to play, what are some recommendations that you perhaps have to kind of mitigate the problems and the challenges that come with flooding. And that will happen when we return from this break. Join us again.
Stay up to date with LN 24/7. LN 24/7. With news, politics, business, sports, and more on LN 24/7. Where the story goes, we go.
LN 24/7 Sports. Football just got better. For the fans. For loyalty. For the tackles.
A near supernatural goal from Lionel Messi.
For the celebrations. For the goals. For the love of the game.
All right, thank you for joining us, and thank you for staying with us, rather. It's time for our weekend hot topic. We did tell you it's all about flooding, and I dare say if you are in these parts, you know, maybe Lagos, maybe Ogun State, or maybe beyond that, or even in other parts of the country, you probably in some way were affected by Wednesday's rains, which of course now led to flooding. And we kind of want to talk about that. How do we mitigate? It's not the first time, it wouldn't be the second time, not the third, that we are having this conversation about flooding and about how to find ways around it, at least minimize the impact of flooding in the country. But we want to talk about that. We are going to be opening the phone lines shortly, so you can weigh in on this matter. Are we missing something? Flooding is not exclusive to Nigeria anyways. We've seen flooding happen in other parts of the world, in other countries, and when it happens, it does happen. However, how prepared are we? What's our preparedness for floods? We know the rains are coming. It's seasonal. So how prepared are we each time the rains start? Do we have to have excessive flooding? These are some of the things that we will be talking about. But first of all, let's get some context to this discussion. Now, the Lagos Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, says that government is determined to prefer a permanent solution to flooding in areas like Agungi and its environs through the construction of a bigger water collector along the road, expected to bring relief to residents in that area. The commissioner made this known while speaking with the press after an assessment of the area following the 48-hour rainfall experienced in the state. According to a statement by the spokesperson for the ministry, Kunle Adeshina, the commissioner added that the construction of a bigger collector became necessary along Agungi Road to prevent flooding in the area. According to him, after the construction of a new collector, the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure will also be invited to raise the level of the road. He lamented that people were building on drainage setbacks, and he said the government would continue to ramp up enforcement operations across the state to reclaim setbacks and drainage alignments towards preventing flooding. So that's kind of where we are at. The question is, what practical strategies do we recommend to tackle flooding in these parts? How prepared are we for such situations? What more can we do to prevent the impact that comes with excessive flooding in some parts? These are the questions we'd like to have answers to, and this is where you come in. So the phone lines are open for you. Call us and tell us what you think, where you're affected. If you were, call us and tell us about it and what you think should happen or what we can do better in order to deal with this situation. SB. Yes,
we really need to deal with this situation. And seeing those clips coming in now, and I can't help but ask, how did they survive? You know, those are houses that were affected, landmass, you know, totally flooded with water. And then a thought comes to mind. Is it the fact that Lagos is a coastal city, you know, because there's always been this notion or this school of thought that because Lagos is a coastal city and then you keep pushing the waterbed, you know, its boundaries. Maybe that is why when the rains come, in most places, especially those areas that are close to the waterfront, is, you know, covered with a lot of flood and all of that. And then this particular clip, this was on Wednesday morning, and this is along Oworoshoki axis going towards Third Mainland Bridge, and this is a total, you know, stop. Look at the cars, everybody stopped in traffic just because of the flood. They couldn't go any further. And this particular area is not always prone to flood.
This is the first time
I'm actually experiencing this as well. We're seeing this. And this particular clip is from Oshodi. This is Oshodi under the main bridge, and then you see this happening there too. And the question that begs for answer is the fact that why are these places becoming flooded, you know, at this point in time? Could it be the fact that the drainage systems are totally, you know, not functioning anymore? Or could it be the fact that the coastal city, the waters want to claim back its land? Or, you know, this kind of things, you can't help but ask some very interesting questions indeed. This happens to be a worship center. There's a church. flooded totally. And you ask the question, what is really going on, and how can these issues be tackled indeed? And then you also have to ask the question, or we need to bring to mind our habits when it comes to waste management, when it comes to drainage systems and management of our drainages, especially in Lagos. Because you can't help but bring this to the fore. We've talked about this time and time again. When the drainages are not functioning properly, or maybe they are not big enough, or they are being blocked, these are the kind of things that we will experience. So fine, maybe yes, there needs to be more that needs to be done, but then again, people should imbibe the right attitude towards waste disposal. And that needs to really be tackled. Sometime, I think that was last year, the Lagos State Government Ministry of Environment came out and, banned the total use of plastic and disposable plastics and styrofoams. But we still see these things, still being used, and they are not properly disposed. And of course, because these materials are not biodegradable, they do not decompose. So these are all what forms, a form of blockage in most parts of Lagos, and then you see this kind of things happening. Like I was telling someone the other day, I think I was with Angel when I mentioned the fact that you still see people use their bottles and toss it into the main streets, and then you're wondering, we need to do better. We need to do better.
I think there were there was a particular, it was a video that went viral. There were some people that were arrested. The house was sealed. Because they were seen, while all those rains were going on Wednesday, they were seen bringing out their trash, bringing out their garbage, and dumping it in the water.
In the water?
Yes, so I think someone sort of filmed them while they were at it, and filmed the house, and reported them to certain agencies. And
I think we need to start taking responsibility.
They sealed the house. I think so too. Everyone should, if anyone is found to be doing that.
How could you see major flood like that, and then you bring out your trash and
because in their minds, it's washing the trash away. Where do you think it's taking it to?
To where? If I may ask
you. So sometimes you find that even people who are meant to be intelligent and educated, smart people behave in a manner that is totally unacceptable. But that's one. Now you mentioned something in the beginning, and I think SB, you got it spot on. It has a lot to do with the fact that Lagos is a coastal city. We are surrounded by water in some ways, and I have read several articles. It's also something that I'm researching currently. There's this thing that has been said, and in the next 10 to 20 years, that Lagos may not be sinking.
Lagos might not be here anymore.
So when we have things like reclamation of land ongoing, we have things like sand filling, we have like the Eco Atlantics, where you are busy pushing the waters back. Again, I ask, where are you pushing it to? Because these are naturally demarcation boundaries. Where the land begins, where the water stops, and where the land begins, and all of that. So if you are pushing the waters inwards, it may work for a while, but then again, why do tsunamis happen? Right? Some of those things are because it's been pushed to the point where there's no place to push it to any longer. And when nature takes its course, it's going to find its level back. And usually it's very, very devastating. I think that is one of the reasons. So that already should let us know that we need to be prepared all the time, because we already know that Lagos, for instance, is a coastal city. Not all the states where flooding has occurred are coastal cities. So there are different recommendations or different strategies that will work for different areas and regions. Sometimes, again, if you remember in the past, we had issues where Rather, we had this whole thing about the dam in Cameroon being opened.
Yeah.
You remember that
happens like sometime in the middle of the year, at the beginning of the year.
And that also brought about massive flooding.
That is even without rain at all.
That's even without the rain sometimes, or minimal rain. You know, you just find places flooded. Things like this. I think this is one of the times when you know, we were told that there was an opening of a dam and on all of that. So there is a holistic approach that has to be applied when dealing with flooding, you know, and the government has done quite a lot, I might add.
Okay.
I respect the fact that they have taken responsibility. They have apologized to the residents.
That's the Lagos State government.
The Lagos State government, even though it's not exactly their fault. What I mean is that it is an act of nature. When it rains, this is rainy season, so it's going to be rain. It's going to be raining.
Exactly.
Yes, the government is blamed in some ways sometimes because people ask, you know, was the city planned? How well was it planned? People ask, so what about those that have been allowed to erect structures on rights of ways where you have the drainage systems and you know, places where the water is meant to be passing? So how come people are building on it? More recently also, we've seen the Lagos State government demolish buildings, bring down buildings that are on such pathways. And like, you know, we're not going to take it anymore. We need to bring down those buildings. So a lot is going on, but what more can we do? We're talking about preparedness. How can we adequately prepare to deal with the contingencies, so the challenges that come with flooding? The phone lines are open. Do call us. Tell us if you were affected by Wednesday's rain, Wednesday's flooding, and let us know what you think should happen immediately and how we can be better prepared for it in the future.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Yes, indeed. And like you rightly said, every state or every area actually should have a different plan in dealing with the floods. And you mentioned the fact that the dams being opened. Can there be other alternatives to that dam being opened? Or, you know, we should look for ways to really resolve these issues. And then again, you talk about the Lagos State government coming out to apologize because of the Wednesday floods and all of that. Would you really want to blame the government for the floods? Not exactly. Yeah, maybe on one end you would say maybe the city was not properly planned, but it's not this administration that planned the city in the first instance. So these are all the things we should look for solutions and way forward in tackling these issues that it's with us now. And then we shouldn't wait. I mean, everyone shouldn't wait till when it's the rainy season before we start taking action. There should have been plans ahead. At the beginning of this discussion, yes, you talked about the level of preparedness. How prepared are we? We know the rains are going to come. What have we done to mitigate all these issues of flooding happening with the rain? There's still going to be like a 7 days non-stop rain. This was just like 48 hours, and look at what happened. If it continues, what do you think is going to happen? There will be places that people will have to, like, you know, abandon their houses and, you know, their source of livelihood just because, you know, the floods came. So I think moving forward, the level of preparedness should start from the beginning of the year, just right after the rains. Even now, once the rains are over, there should be ways to look at expanding drainage systems, like the Commissioner for Environment, was that the Commissioner of Environment? The story we had in Tokumbo Wahab, talking about expanding the drainage at Agungi. Not just Agungi, we should look at other places as well. Look at ways to, like, okay, maybe clear up the drainages, look at the canals, how can they, because there was even a situation that happened close to where I live. The canal broke. And it came into, you know, people's compounds, their fence falling off and all of that. So these are the things we should look at. How can the canals be cleaned up, you know, on a regular basis, and looking at ways to, like, find, and then proper sensitization and maybe awareness level of individuals on disposals of wastes. Because how can you be in your house and then you think that the best way to dispose your waste is to carry it and dump it into a flood? It doesn't make sense. Let's agree that it's not everybody that knows these things. So there should be level of awareness that should be running year in, year out, every day, every week, every month. talking about waste disposal and how it should be compulsory for every person to sort their waste, because that is what is leading to all of these things. We should know how to sort waste. The plastic should be kept separately from the biodegradables, and should be kept away from what's it called now, from paper, so that recycling can take place. And everybody should start embracing recycling. It's not just a thing like a cliche, you know, word of mouth. Everybody should be part of it and create that avenue, because we still see when waste collectors come, all the junks are meshed up together and taken away. But it can be done in a better way if we put those, what's it called now, those steps there from your home. Sort your trash, so that when the waste collectors comes to get them, it is already easier for them to like continue the sorting and then making sure that recycle takes place. So, and we should be law-abiding citizens. No disposable, what's that thing? Styrofoam, and then one-use plastic and all of that.
Hold that thought. We have Azubike calling us from Ogun State. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling. Please
Happy
go ahead.
weekend to you guys.
Happy weekend to you
weekend.
too.
Please go ahead.
And thank you for the good job you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go on, please.
So, about this area at Magboro, I don't know what can be done. And it seems like everybody...
network is not so good now. Hello,
Azubike.
Azubike, can you hear us?
Ooh. Okay, Azubike,
I think you need to call back.
Yes, you will have to call back, because the networks are not really letting us hear what you're saying.
Yes.
But thank you for calling. Please do try, if you can, we would love to hear from you. The phone lines are open for your contributions. We are talking about preparedness for flooding. What more can we do? Government's responsibility, the citizens' responsibility, and you know, everyone has their own role to play in making sure that the impact is minimal. Okay, Azubike is back. Hello.
Hello.
Oh yes.
Hello.
This is better.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm calling from Nigeria. Where I stay at Magboro is like yearly, and everybody there has come because of the fact that this thing happens yearly, and everybody has become comfortable with it. It is not funny at all. Every day you see people going to work. Their lifestyle has changed basically, because you plan against the flooding, and it is not a good thing really. The health risk that comes with the water also. Hello?
Hear you. Continue.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Continue.
Yeah, like I was saying, I said the health risk also, like I got water, my body has been itching like ever since. So I don't know if the government, what they can do. I just think it's about the drainage system. Proper drainage system should be put in place. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling. Thank you.
Proper drainage, I think that is the least that we can do, you know, as a country, as a state, making sure that the proper drainage system are in place. And I'm emphasizing this because there's some constructions that are ongoing that we have seen in the past that are shoddily done.
Yes.
And it is not okay. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, for instance, aside this rain that happened on Wednesday, you know, there was another rain that happened the upper week, if you recall.
I think I remember.
Part of that, where you have that bridge, was flooded. People were stuck in traffic, people's cars, and that was supposed to be a place that was, you know, that had been constructed
just recently.
And I'm like, that is unacceptable.
Totally.
And quite frankly, if you're my client, you will redo it, and I will not pay you.
Yes.
I will not pay you
because that was a shoddy job.
Shoddily done. It's not okay. So if because I expect that you have that in mind. If you're constructing a bridge or you're constructing a road, whatever it is that you're constructing, you have to have in mind the fact that what happens when it rains? What happens when there's flooding?
Exactly.
Is there a proper drainage
and that's
system
supposed to be a bridge.
You know, and that's supposed to be, how can water be on top of a bridge?
That doesn't make any sense.
That is absurd.
You know, and then our last caller, when he mentioned that area that he's calling from Magboro, you see a lot of estates springing up in that area. You know, that's like you're going outskirts of Lagos into Ogun State.
Indeed,
yes,
no drainage.
No drainages. You see all these estates springing up, no proper plan for drainage. You just mark lands to people, come buy land and like, you know, real estate and all of that. What is the proper plan for that estate? The drainages, where should the house begin and should stop, and what are the you know, there are supposed to be some meters left in front of each construction. These are the things that we should be looking at when going into real estate management or property sales and all of that. You're constructing, you're getting an estate for people to come and, you know, build their houses in them. The rains will come and then estate turns into a village on top of water. You know, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So these are the things that needs to put into consideration when people are saying, oh, come to so area, we have a land for so amount, you go have this estate, the proximity is to so place and all of that. What is the proper plan? There should be a plan. Don't just go and take a full land mass that was not properly cleared and then it's still the owners that will not be clearing the land. You didn't mark the places properly. It should be properly marked before you start selling out, you know, lands to people. That's why you have issues like that happening in that area, in Magboro and some other places around that same axis. It should be looked into.
Yes, I think it's high time that we do the right thing and stand by it. I remember when we have videos of maybe government taking down buildings, you know, we're quick to say government is wicked, government is very insensitive, government doesn't care about the welfare of the people. I do blame government in an extent because it was allowed under your watch. It shouldn't have been allowed in the first place. So whoever signed off on it, that gave the developer the boldness to keep building when he was not supposed to build, you know, so just accept that you have a blame there as well. But for the people building also, you ought to build with a proper plan. So going forward, there should be stiff penalties for anyone found to be, you know, found to be building on or constructing in places where they have no business doing that. Stiff penalties should be given to people who are found to throw their garbage and their refuse when it rains. You're dumping it on the streets, you're dumping it into gutters, you're dumping it to God knows where, hoping that, you know, it will magically be washed away. Those things end up landing someplace and clogging gutters, clogging drainage systems, and then you have flooding. And by the time the flooding occurs, you are blaming government. So, I mean, let everybody take responsibility, take ownership. Don't allow wrongdoing. Don't permit it where you are. If you see something like that, call the person out, call the person to order, or better still, report the person, because that person is part of the problem that we're trying to solve. And so, you know, we've said quite a bit, but that's the truth. So the right thing needs to be done. Construction, there has to be proper planning when constructing buildings, houses, roads, especially roads. You know, and even if there's proper planning, for instance, like that Oworonshoki that we saw earlier,
that we saw,
which is not really prone to flooding.
But if you notice, that place is actually lowland.
It's a lowland.
So maybe the water overflowing from other parts has already been
obviously everything came in
into that particular area. So I think it's because it's a lowland.
I think so. So some people they knew what to do. You know, they knew what
authorities came and they diverted
for some people there are some manholes that they will have to open up for the waters to drain out. You know, some, like the story we read about building a collector that you know would just collect water, absorb all that water, and then dispense, or rather get rid of it, dispose of it at a later time. So there's so much. There's just a holistic approach that we have to, you know, imbibe or have to implement in this instance. I do recall also that the government has asked those that are living in low lands, in low-level areas, they may have to vacate. You may have to move and go to higher grounds. And you know, that sounds easier said than done.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, your life is what is at stake, because you could. I remember one rainfall, the heavy rainfall that happened. When was that? I think it was 2015 or so. It was a long time ago. I can't remember, June or July. The floods. Some people were sleeping in their beds, and the water came and met them. What I'm saying is that it could be dangerous. It could be dangerous. Some people, we've seen videos of people having to climb onto the rooftops because the houses have been so submerged that they couldn't stay in the house anymore. You know, so if you need to leave, please leave. So you can, your life at this point is what's important.
More important.
So if you need to leave, just leave. If you have some, you know what we're saying. Your life is important. So if you can, please leave as much as possible, because some of these things happen at night. The one on Wednesday, it happened in the very early hours in the morning.
And that, I know someone that their fence broke and the water came in like a mighty flood right into the homes. And you had people, you know, maybe in a room where you had people sleeping on the floor. It was by God's grace that the water didn't, take them away, and they were, being carried. They were not carried away with the flood. But a lot of, efforts has to be, put in place. People from the neighboring compound had to come, rescue as many. They were not even talking about their materials now or their belongings. Everybody's focus was for life not to be lost.
That's it.
And and when things like that happen, you just have to find a way to leave that area for now. Just look for where to okay, let's go stay here for now. After the rains, we'll look for solutions.
Yeah. Someone said, it was meant to be on a lighter mood, but someone said if you're looking to rent an apartment, if you're looking to buy a property, this is the time, because now you know what that property will look like when it rains heavily. There was a viral video of a lady who was filming her parlor. And everything was literally floating. Her furniture, her kitchen utensils, the bag of rice that she had just bought. You know how costly rice is. And Gary as well. It was I felt so bad. And you know what she said? She said she just packed in May.
Oh dear.
This is July. How could she have known that?
Oh dear.
How could she have known that apartment, and I would suspect it was probably the ground floor. How could she have known that the floods would come and...
Dear Lord. That is a total loss.
It's a total
and you're talking about the fact that what's it called, food items
are
so not cheap this time around. Good enough.
I think this is the time, if you're going to do anything serious, now is the time you should look around, find out how that area is during the heavy rains, just so you're sure. We also saw videos of, they said even the rich also cried. We saw some highbrow areas on the island, Lekki area, all flooded, especially Lekki area, which is even closer to the waters. And some of the posh areas we saw them, those estates.
That is what we just talked about. So you talk about having an estate that was not properly planned, no proper drainage system. These are the kind of things that will be happening. And this can be avoided indeed. They can be avoided.
All right, we're going to drop the conversation at this point. There is so much to say, but one thing is sure, we have a lot of work to do. We commend the governments, at all levels here in the state and outside of the state as well. You are doing a good job. You're doing what you can. We do expect more, and that is also calling everyone else to order. Don't be the reason why someone else's house is flooded just because we're too lazy to wait for the disposal trucks to come by your area, or because you just wanted to see what will happen if you did that. Please do not dispose your garbage, your refuse in the gutters when it rains. They will clog. If not yours, they will clog someone else's drainage and then lead to flooding. So please don't do it. If you do it and you get caught, please don't say you didn't know, you were not warned, and all of that. So we will continue to sit on it and continue to support government. This is everybody's responsibility. It is a holistic approach that will be required in this case. And yeah, so we will leave it here and see which updates come out of it in the coming days. All right, we will take a breather. Before we take a breather, you do have an event that you'll be attending shortly. Okay, tell us about it before you disappear.
It is a symposium organized by the Lovewood Medical Center, and it's a particular symposium that has to do with radionuclide therapy and oncology. What is that about? We're going to be seeing more of that as we go for that event. We will try to bring you some live feeds, to see, bring you what the event is looking like, the speakers at the event, and of course, we'll give you more information about radionuclide therapy and how it is an innovative approach in getting rid of cancer. Wow. It's really an innovative one indeed, and it's something that's going to be really, an eye-opener. It's holding at Lovewood Medical Center. That's 51/53 Kudiata Biola Way. And like I said, a symposium on radionuclide therapy and oncology. And the focus will be evolving role of nuclear medicine, personalized and precision medicine. And of course, you can see the arrays of speakers and the organizers of this particular event. And like Zoe said, we'll be there live, and we'll try to bring you some of the happenings from that particular event shortly.
That will be amazing. That will be amazing. Always excited when there are new innovations to help people, to help with health, to help with medical conditions, and that is really, really wonderful. All right, we will go on that break now. When we return, we have an interesting discussion coming up, so do stay with us.
Ellen 24/7 lights up your day with unbeatable shows that guarantees absolute access to stories that revolves around politics, entertainment, and sports. Breaking news, plus detailed reports and analysis. At Ellen 24/7, where the story goes, we go.
What makes the political system what it is today? What are the recurring issues? Order. The tussle for power.
An extremely problematic area.
The tension. The instability of the system. Join Ellen 24/7 as we take you inside the local and international political arena in the world of politics.
Apologize for saying that I am corrupt.
I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
Watch politics now on Ellen 24/7.
Don't miss Politics Now on Ellen 24/7.
Catch the thrills, and all passion of world's biggest sports fiesta. From July the 26th to August the 11th, 2024 on Ellen 24/7 Network. Olympic 2024 game live on Ellen 24/7. Watch all the action as Nigerian stars shine to glory. For advert placement and sponsorship, call these numbers: 081-367-99969, 070-542-81181, and 0802-332-2032. France 2024 Olympics. Games wide open. Faster. Higher. Stronger. LN 24/7, where the news goes, we go.
Thank you for staying with the morning show this Saturday morning. We're having our first discussion coming up. SB will do us the honors.
Yes. Some time ago, you and I, we had this discussion with Cherise Ijewere, a clinical nutrition consultant and a gut health practitioner, on what we should or we should not feed our children. You know, our child nutrition is quite important, you know, for everyone's, you know, information. And she spoke extensively on the basic rules every parent must observe when it comes to proper nutrition of their children. So we are bringing back this discussion so as to refresh our minds and on how to, you know, do a proper nutrition for our children. Take a listen. So let's get right into it. You are a clinical nutritionist and you've been a gut health you know, practitioner for many years, and now we see a rising case of diabetes, even especially among children. Why do you think this is happening? And of course, many would just be wondering, okay, diabetes is when you take a lot of sugar or, you know, frizzy drinks and all of that. So as, you know, an expert that you are, can you throw more light into this for us, please?
Certainly. So as a nutrition consultant and a gut health practitioner, we are seeing a lot of children with high blood sugar levels. And if these levels are not controlled, it eventually turns into juvenile diabetes. And this basically means this diabetes stage that comes on because of lifestyle. Maybe because of the foods that we are eating, that we're giving our children, foods that such as sugary drinks, it could be carbonated drinks, it could be a lot of processed foods, a lot of breads, biscuits, pasta, wheat products, noodles. So all the convenient food is now causing us convenient disease.
Okay. All the convenient food causing all the inconvenient disease. Okay, now you mentioned a lot of staple foods that people, the go-to. Many people just, you know, you grab a noodles, you just make that and you give it to the children and all of that. So what should be the alternatives? What should parents start doing? Because most of the time parents even do complain of the fact that when you give a child fruits or vegetables, they don't really like it, so they want to give them something that they would love to eat. So what do you have to say about this? You know, when you want to switch now into something more healthy, how best do you think a parent can, you know, adopt that for their children's diet?
Okay, thank you. So very interesting is that parents need to realize that they are the role model for their children. That they should carry them along. If it is that parents want their children to eat healthy, they want them to be energetic, smart, have great skin, have healthy hair, then of course they need to feed the children those foods that will help to nourish them. And when we look at food, we need to think of food as nourishment for the body. So those foods that now we call staples, now were not staples back then. Foods that are staples, yes, the carbohydrates, your protein, your fats, but then when it comes to carbohydrates, those natural staples, so things like your yam, your sweet potato, your plantain, your amala, your eba, your Irish potato, your cocoa yam, your water yam. There's so many variety of foods that are there, but we have now gone more into conventional ways to make children's foods, foods that are convenient. So we've gone more into doing things that are harming our system rather than nurturing our system. And so things such as the pastas, the breads, they're convenient, but those foods are not giving the nourishment that the children need for growth, for brain development. And this is why we're seeing children now with have children that forget things all the time. They have a bit of brain fog. They're not feeling so energetic. Maybe they are starting to gain weight. They're having a lot of body fat. A lot of times they lose interest into things that they should really be interested in. They no longer want to go outside. And this is some of the effects that foods that are processed, heavily processed, ultra processed, causes on our system. It's like it affects the mood. So we call this the gut-brain axis, where what you eat also affects what the communication is from the brain that then affects the body.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Cherise, for throwing light on this. I have two questions to ask you, really. The first question is, aside nutrition for children, are there other factors that could predispose children to diabetes and obesity at that young age? Aside nutrition, are there any other factors that could predispose the children to getting those conditions? That's one. And then secondly, how important is it really for children to have a proper nutrition plan? Because when we talk about nutrition plans, it's usually the adults that would talk about, how to live, how to eat right, how to eat healthy, and all of that. But you don't see much of that for children, not as much as you see that for the adults. So how important is that, and how can parents start doing that? So two questions.
Yes, thank you for that. So when it comes to factors that contribute to diabetes, this includes genetics. It could be that mom or dad has diabetes, and so maybe the child was predisposed, and it might be diabetes type 1, where the body is not making insulin. Or it could be that the mom and dad has diabetes type 2, where the body is not making enough insulin, or maybe it's not using the insulin effectively. So factors that is genetics, your diet, which we spoke about already, and your lifestyle. So when we talk about lifestyle, we're talking about your exercise, how much sleep you get. We're talking about you going out in the outdoors, getting some sun. Right now we see that a lot of children are very tech savvy, so they're on their phones all the time, they are gaming a lot, they're watching TV, so they're more indoors, and so your body, if you're outdoors, you're getting that vitamin D that the body needs, the hormone that the body needs to also help regulate your digestive system, your sleep rhythm, and then just for your overall well-being. So those are some of the factors that affect other than food.
Okay. All right.
So the second question.
Yes, the second question, I don't know if you remember what I asked, like how can parents actually come up with a proper nutrition plan for their children to make sure that their children actually eat right?
Yes, so let us realize that parents are very busy. I mean, they're trying to make ends meet for their school fees and so forth. So with me bringing that to your attention, it's important that parents give this role to a nutritionist, to a dietitian, to their pediatrician's office. They're the ones who will connect you to the nutritionist or the dietitian. Now, if it is that the parent does have time, they really need to sit down with their child or children and come up with a plan for their child or children that suits them. So that means this would be a family discussion where we're talking about foods that are natural and throwing it back at the child. What are the foods that are natural? Let the child come up with the answers, and then the parent will just plug it into the meal plan. And when you're talking about this plan involves the whole family. So it's where the family is communicating, we're throwing in ideas, we're talking about wellness. And this is part of the goal for the whole family, and even explaining to the children that, listen, once in a while we can eat these other foods, but it's not going to be a daily thing. Let's eat these foods that are natural because it will help you grow taller, it will help your skin health, it will help you go to the bathroom daily, which is very, very important. It will help your hair growth, it will help you be super sharp in school. It will help you have energy, run faster, and believe me, when children hear this, they will do all what they need to do in terms of helping to put in all the good things in the plan. And when children realize that they're part of the program, they are definitely on board. And not only being part of the program, but also being involved or actually practice some of what is on that meal plan. So they're practicing what was put on the meal plan, whether it's blending smoothies, cutting up fruit, helping mom in the kitchen, packing lunches. I mean, once you have your child involved, they're definitely interested for the long term. And that child will even call in or call out their parents if they're going off track.
That's very good. That's very, very good indeed. Okay, in wrapping up, this discussion, you said a beautiful idea you just brought up, getting the children involved, making them part of the meal plan, asking them what are, what's it called, natural foods. This is very, very good. Now, let's talk about drinks, because children love drinks. You've talked about food. Now, drinks, you're talking of beverages like frizzy drinks, there are sweet drinks and all of those fruity drinks, and ice cream. How do you balance this out? Are you going to be like, okay, try to do what's it called, healthier drinks? Are you going to try to create or make your own drinks so that the children will like to take something, at least to cool off from time to time? Or what? How should a parent, a mom go about that?
Absolutely, I love this. So when it comes to drinks, there are several options. And when you're teaching your children, if it is that you go to the supermarket, you want to teach them, have them do a little math, read the ingredients on the back of the package, and know that the first ingredient is the most ingredient in any package. So you have the first, then you have the second, then you have the third ingredient. And that's how the quantities go from there. The math is 4 grams of sugar equal 1 teaspoon or 1 cube. So if you have a juice drink or a mineral soda drink and it says 24 grams of sugar in that particular container, you would divide that 24 by 4 and you would know how many cubes of sugar is in that particular drink or juice. And so you would have the conversation with your child. Do you think it would be healthy if I gave you these 6 cubes of sugar to eat? And then also helping them reason. When you mix these cubes of sugar in water, it will dissolve. And that's the same thing, that you're drinking it in your body, you're putting it in your body, and it is affecting your organs. It's not good to have too much of any of these things. And so the options would be, well, let's do something. Maybe we have some watermelon juice. Maybe we do some watermelon ice cubes. Or maybe it's pineapple ice cubes. Maybe you can also put like a jug on the table that's quite chilled, so anytime any of the children want to have a drink, they just pour it into their cup, once you make things available for your children, they will comply. If you don't have the mineral drinks, the soda drinks, the juice pouches all around, they will forget about it, because children really adapt to whatever environment they're in and they move on. So if you provide those nice juicy fruits, tangerines, watermelon, pineapple, they will actually take those, and then you know for certain that their body is getting the vitamins, the minerals that it needs, and they feel good about it too.
Awesome. Beautiful idea. I'm sure our viewers are really getting these ideas and they're going to put that to work. Thank you very much, Therese.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, we look forward to bringing it.
You wanted to say something? Hello.
Yay, that you mentioned about the ice cream. Yeah, I'm here. Regarding the ice cream. So ice cream can be made with coconut milk. It can be made with tiger nut milk. It can be made with different fruits. And so down that ice cream and milk and put it in the freezer with whatever fruit you want to blend it with, whether it's or whether fruit itself. That is your ice cream for later on. This is something made that you're proud of. Children personally eat it.
The network is not so good now.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much. These are beautiful ideas.
Beautiful idea, like you just said, you know.
Hopefully the parents will begin to, you know, pay attention to that, because it's important that your children eat healthy, just so you avoid, save them, you know, a whole lot of stress much later on. But thank you very much.
Yes,
we had the pleasure of talking with Therese Ijewere, who is a clinical nutrition consultant as well as a gut health practitioner, and we talked about child nutrition and what parents must do and perhaps must not do
exactly,
you know, to make sure that they're not unwittingly giving their children diabetes or some other conditions brought on by what they eat. So thank you very much once again. It's been very, very exciting.
Yes, it has. Thank you.
All right, a very interesting discussion, if you ask me, and the question remains, are parents unwittingly, perhaps without really knowing, are they giving their children or causing their children to be obese or even to have diabetes because of what they feed the children? Children are totally dependent on their parents, on their guardians to feed them, you know, to give them food at any given point. So what's in the food that they're being given? You know, they're just given some things just to keep them quiet. Okay, take a soda and don't disturb me, you know, or what? What are your thoughts on this? But Amaka joins me now. You know, we told you earlier that Sumbo had to be or has to be in a symposium that is taking place. So she has gone now. Hopefully, if possible, we'll get some live feed into that program, if that is possible. But Amaka is here now. How are you? Happy weekend, Amaka.
Same to you.
How are you
Happy
doing?
weekend. It's Saturday again.
Yeah, again.
Exactly.
Like, it's as if
the weekend is already run. Tomorrow Sunday. I'm we're back to Monday.
We're back to Mondays. It's just racing like
but
that.
yes, happy weekend. It's really good to be here. You look so beautiful.
Thank you.
You look so good on you.
Well, you look amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have anything to say? Like,
concerning the discussion, yes.
I do think, you know, before you could, I do think that parents are more aware now of what they feed their children.
Yes.
Before, I think it's just let the children be fed. So I've heard of mothers who feed their kids noodles
morning, afternoon, night. Yes.
You know, but I think that's gradually changing. They're being more intentional about their children's diet.
Yes, I have to agree with you on that. It's gradually changing. Yes, people are getting more intentional about how they eat, what they eat, where they source their food from, is it organic, things like that. But in as much as this is also happening, there's also the situation whereby we're having more and more branded sugars, like in markets, supermarkets. There are products that you're buying, you're not even aware that there's sugar. They are putting sugar in it. It might look very, very, very healthy from the outside. Things like, I think we had a discussion on the Wednesday morning show one time. We had a discussion of things like ketchup that can look like it has just tomatoes in it, mayonnaise. I'm trying to think of other, these fries, pre-made, their fries they make already and sell. Some of them just come with a lot of unhealthy ingredients. Yes, exactly. We have preservatives and sugar. So I think in as much as people are more conscious about what they are feeding to their children, now is the time to actually take a look at the back of most of these bottles of things that you buy, the containers. Actually, like she said, I heard that part of the discussion. Always, always, always take a look at the ingredients of what you're buying. Some of these things are renamed as sucrose, fructose, and plenty O's, you know. So just be very, very careful, because it's so possible to, you know, give your children diabetes without you being aware.
Very, very, very key. You know, I did observe that the children that are raised, so it differs, right?
Yes.
Some children that live in the grassroots, you know, that live in the villages, that grow up in villages, one might argue that they don't have access to as much good food as those that
in
urban areas. But I like to disagree with that, because a lot of what they eat is either homegrown, it's natural,
organic.
Some of them can't even afford the so-called foods that have all of these additives.
That's so true.
So instead of having like a cornstarch, custard, or you know, they just go for a regular pap.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Instead of having all
things
these
that they grow themselves.
Things they grow themselves.
So at the end of the day, if you look at it, they might actually be
less
eating
of
more.
those health issues and medical conditions.
That's so true.
Indeed.
We make the joke about it and say, if you're at home, if you're in the village eating fresh food every time, you won't be behaving. Even we named an entire generation in the noodles generation just to prove that point. So I think things are getting better.
All right, but hope you did enjoy that conversation. And if you haven't started yet, be deliberate, be intentional about your children's diet. It is so important. Have a meal plan. You know, the way you have a meal plan for the entire family, have one. You know, if your children are still growing, they're toddlers, you know, they should have a separate meal plan to make sure that it's nutritious, you know, all the right nutrients and all they need is taken care of and provided in their meals. They'll thank you for it much later. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. All right, the morning show continues now. We have still a lot to do and a lot to go to, places to go to. I'm personally hoping that we would be able to get some feed from the symposium, because it's really, really an interesting topic. You know, talking about how using, I think it was nuclear. If you can kindly have that that card again, so we can see what that symposium is all about, and you know, how to use the latest technology in precision surgery, as it were, precision surgery, and dealing with health issues, specifically cancer in this regard. So all manner of new innovations, technological innovations are coming up now, and these are things that we didn't have before, that are really, you know, it's really, it's a big win for the medical,
and a big development, especially here in Nigeria.
Absolutely. Okay, they're not giving me the card that I'm asking for, so we're going to have to leave that. But we do have another discussion, which I'm going to call right away, so we can talk about that, and this time it has to do with our mental health. Do you think, before we get into, do you think that talking about mental health is kind of overrated? Like sometimes like sometimes you just hear people, please don't disturb
my mental health. No, we can't take away the fact that people are starting to use it. Like, I think there was also, we've seen tweets on social media talking about things like, dear HR, I can't come to work today because of my mental health. This is my mental health. People are really, really, really overstretching it at some point, but I do not think it's overrated. It's a very important discussion, because your mental health it affects everything around you. It affects your physical health, your emotional well-being, and it can even affect people around you without you being aware. then start to like bleed on people who do not even cut you. There are so many things to talk about with mental health, but I think it's a very important discussion. Even if we have it almost every month, it's still not overrated.
Indeed. So it is not overrated. It's important that we keep talking about mental health. People have different kinds of thresholds as regards how they handle and how they process stress, and the situations, things that happen to them. But this next discussion has to do with our lifestyle and the ways in which we can change the things we do on a daily in order to improve mental health. So whether we know it or not, there are certain things in our lives, in our lifestyles, the way that we live, that have been contributing to some sort of stress without us even knowing it.
Yeah.
And then again, there are certain things that we can imbibe into our regular lives
that will take away from
those stressors. It's going to take away those stressors. So that was really the topic of this discussion, which we had a little while ago. It's titled Exploring Lifestyle Changes to Improve Mental Health. So every person's mental health is quite important, and that is why at different times we bring to the fore issues that affect mental health, most especially ways for individuals to improve their mental health. So in this discussion, we spoke with Akindoroye Dare Samuel, aka Coach Dre, who spoke about overcoming his personal challenges through swimming and how he now uses the same sport to create mental health awareness and reaching individuals with the same issues. So take a listen to this and we will be back. Okay, sorry for that little hitch, but we are ready to go now. It's time for us to discuss something very, very important. We are exploring lifestyle changes to improve mental health. And joining us today in this discussion, we have Akindoroye Dare Samuel, or Coach Dre, as he's also known, who is a swim coach, and he'll be joining us for this discussion. Now, just to give you some more information about him, Coach Dre is a FNA Level 2 coach with over 10 years of experience in the professional aquatic realms. He's well groomed as a lifeguard and life-saving in open water swimming and competitive sports. Coach Dre is the CEO of Ocean 28 Swimming Academy. He swam for 2 hours and 33 minutes across the 11.8 kilometers long waters of the 3rd Mainland Bridge, Lagos, and he did this in order to raise awareness on mental health. So from engaging in physical activity to building meaningful relationships, making lifestyle adjustments can actually help you and I nurture our mental well-being. So today we're going to be talking about that, all of that with him, and how that certain lifestyle changes can improve our mental health. Good morning, Coach Dre. It's a pleasure to have you on our program today.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for calling. It's good to have you join us.
Indeed. So it's like how many days or how many weeks that you had that epic swim? We have Akindoroye Dare Samuel, or Coach Dre, as he's also known, who is a swim coach, and he'll be joining us for this discussion. Now, just to give you some more information about just can improve our mental health.
And you have to deal with the mods.
Yeah.
So, ever since that awareness, it's been a lot of meetings, a lot of interviews, a lot of calls. It's been that kind of busy schedule, different live sessions on Instagram, on different social media platforms, where I also get to meet people who are even professionals, like in that particular field itself. So different kinds of people. So I think it was a good move. Like, it's a good move. It's a good move.
Okay, so that is sort of that event is sort of behind you, but I would want for you to really explain for some people who didn't quite get it. You know what I mean? Because I was reading some comments also, and some people were like, what's the connection between mental health and swimming? So there's the connection. Can you talk to us about that connection? What made it what connected that event to the awareness?
So, well, I do have I have stories behind it.
Okay.
I can't really say or tell everything, right here, but I'll just try and make it a little bit short. So there are two key stories to it. The first one is, for me, growing up, I had this, well, I'm from, I wouldn't, we're not poor, we're good, like, we're really good, so, but my mom tried her possible best to make sure that I get the best care, the best schools, the best everything, but there was just a part that was kind of missing. I was unable to identify my skill or my talent, while growing up. But most parents feel like, okay, once you've been fed, once you've been given this, you're actually okay. So I was actually dealing with that, mentally, because I tried my hands on quite a number of things, so many kind of skill, but it wasn't just working for me. So, and that made me kind of a little bit lonely, but it wasn't just obvious. But I felt that until I came across swimming. I got into swimming, and it just gave me sense of purpose. It gave me a sense of purpose. Gave me the family outside blood relation. It was just so good for me. So ever since I discovered that, I knew I have a tool with me, and I'm going to use it someday. So I just kept that with me. So the second story is now a friend of mine who was planning, let me put it that way, wanting to take his own life. And I'm just lucky enough that, yes, I'm the one who is lucky, not him, that he was able to share that with me, to tell me this is what I'm actually going through. And immediately, I started trying to see, okay, what can I do to help salvage the situation. But what really happened after that was, at the point when I tried to get his exact location, it was not willing to share the location, and that was where I knew we need to voice out, we need to say something, so that was just the whole routine around it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I have to ask, sorry.
Yes, go on.
Now, where is that your friend? I hope he's safe and sound.
Yes, actually, he's safe. He's safe.
Wow,
good.
Nice.
He's not.
But that is quite a bit of an intense one, if you ask me. And when I came across your story, the first thought that came to my mind is, okay, Third Mainland Bridge, we've heard a lot of stories coming from there. People going not so good, people going to Third Mainland Bridge just take their own lives by jumping into the lagoon below, and some, they get lucky, they are saved. And when I saw that story, I thought, okay, very good spot indeed to go raise mental health awareness and get people to say there is life, you could do better than that. But beyond that, for me, I thought 2 hours 33 minutes, that's a long time to swim. And I had to ask, how long did it take you to prepare for this?
Well, the practice itself started somewhere around October. Like, key practice started somewhere around October
2023.
Yeah, that was last year. But it's just a course that that particular act itself is not something that you just come outside just immediately and just talk about it, because everybody thinks you're crazy. So I had to do some quiet training, and make sure that I'm getting the right approvals and every other thing silently. So the thing was, we did get a lot of, you cannot do this, it's not going to happen, it's not going to work, like, we got quite a number of that, even though we try to contain it for a little bit of time until we are sure that we can go all out. So training itself actually started somewhere around October, but got intense in January, and that was, I think it was around January, it came out live, and I was like, okay, we're doing this. So anybody wants to do anything now, that's your business, but we are doing this. So,
wow.
Yeah, so
are there any dangerous animals in the water? Crocodiles or whales?
Well, no, at least none that I came across. So whether I'm lucky or not, that's but none of that I came across. But the thing was, I was briefed, even before attempting. We also did recce. Water inspection. We went through the entire bridge from the beginning to the end with the help of LASWA. there's waterways agency and all. So we did all of that. We knew the parts where it was shallow, rocky, you know, and depending on the kind of I don't know how to put that, but depending on the depth of the water, how the water looks like at some particular, that determines the kind of organism or the kind of animals that you can find around those places. So we had, like, we did all of that survey, and we were like, okay, yeah, this no-go area, this safe, and every other thing like that. So I think that was it for me. You know, that was a good part for me, that we already did the survey, so everything went smoothly.
Wow, this is quite fantastic.
Very, very interesting. Okay, so let's get to the more, you know, the serious aspect of it. When I saw that story the first time, honestly, I thought to myself, this guy must be crazy. Yeah, those were my thoughts. Yeah, right. But then later on, I just got this sense that, you know, you were saying, you know what, you don't have to jump anymore because I'm conquering the waters for you. That was kind of that's what I was getting. Like, don't jump anymore, don't worry, I will go and come back. Nobody has to die inside that water. So tell us about, I don't know if that was the message you had, but that was kind of what I got from, you know. So what's the message that you know, that anyone who still comes across the story or still talks about it is getting? It's beyond, I want to believe it's beyond you just swimming, you know, the length and breadth of that.
Okay, so I think what you got from the story too is, you know, it's part of it. The thing is, first, when there was a need for this awareness, personally, I didn't want just to come to the TV and just talk about it. You know, I didn't just want that, because after talking about it on the TV for like 1 day or 2 days, I mean, that's all. Nobody remembers anything. So we decided to like create that experience around it. So the concept was even, you know, partner with quite a number of NGOs, you know, who are more deep into it, you know, get to talk about it, do whatever it is that they need to do, but create an experience around it so that it can stick in people's mind for a long period of time. That way, you know, those who actually need help will get help, and those who can offer it to will be able to, like, you know, reach out to these people. So the first part of it was actually creating an experience around it for us to be able to get the desired result. On the other side of it, yes, there's no need for you to go to that place anymore. I am not the, I mean, I'm not the, yes, I'm part of government, let me put it that way, because we are all government people, but I mean, I'm not the authorities, so to say. Yeah, and all of that, but I actually believe that, yes, we have good safety measures in place, and if you try getting inside that water, we are going to bring you out. Yeah, they will fish you out, but please, there is no need for you to go there. You know, if God is protecting you, if you are if government is protecting you, try to protect yourself. So we are saying no to that place. Don't go there anymore to commit suicide.
That's quite interesting. You already, like, you know, opened it up, that the swimming aspect, you raise the awareness and all of that. But now let me ask you, based on your own personal opinion, do you think swimming has a relationship with mental health? Does it really help mental health? Yes, it does. It does.
Well, this is not me trying to market swimming. Of course. But the truth about it is just one workout that you do that, you know, works every part of your body. Everything, whether it's your lungs, your eyes, your pinky fingers, most especially when you even do competitive swimming, you get to understand the importance of details, like where you place your pinky finger is as important as where you place the thumb and every other thing. You know, just little details like that. And these are the things that, if you want to stay sane in this society, it's just little things that you need to do. And that's what swimming is going to give to you. So just pay attention to these little things, and then you wouldn't have a problem. As I said earlier, you know, I possibly would have been dead today. Yes, if it's not for swimming, because I might actually be on the streets, you know, wandering around, moving up and down, despite the fact that I'm from a well-to-do family. You know, just for the fact that that part was missing in my life. But I got that, is it redemption, or what should I call it? You know, from swimming. So I can do anything with swimming today. I can become anything with swimming. I can preach it because I've gotten results from it. So that's my own opinion about swimming. Everyone should get involved.
Okay, so what are some other life skills that you learn with swimming? You know, life skills that can be applied to life. Because one of the first of all, one of the things that swimming can do is to distress. You know, by the time you have that workout, you know,
and your whole system just
you're not thinking of you know, you may not have those thoughts, but really, what are some life skills that swimming or learning how to swim gives you that you can apply?
Okay, so I think with this I'm going to keep it a little bit broad. You know, sports generally. You know, one key thing about sport is not really the medals, you know, as people think about it. Or you just have to be a medalist, you have to go around, you know. Let me deviate a little bit.
Go ahead.
Ocean 28, for instance, you know, we have a very different mindset to the craft. You know, yes, we know what they call sports development, but we also try to take advantage of sports for development.
Say that again. Sport development and sport for development.
So it's not the same thing.
Okay, please explain.
Okay, so when you say sports development, you're looking at, you know, getting a pro athlete to wherever, Olympics level, whatever, come outside, become a medalist and all. But when you look at sports for development, this is in simple terms. You know, it's like you trying to use a sport to impact your society, to bring change, you know, to your environment and all. So that's one part that we actually, you know, really focus on. So I think maybe I should just keep it this brief.
Okay. You know, because I thought to like you rightly said, sports generally, if there's one thing it does teach you is, when you talked about it, you said the discipline of it. You have to be disciplined to some level for you to be able to master any sport for that matter. So, you know, that is a life skill. Discipline is a life skill, and when you apply, you have to be disciplined if you're going to excel at anything you're going to do, you know, in life generally, you know. I think it also kind of breeds resilience. I mean, 2 hours and 30 minutes. Come on, that takes some.
Every minute counts. Did you get to rest at any point?
No.
You just kept at it.
Yes, it just when you do this for a period of time, you get to understand that you now have what we call the laser focus. So even if it was longer than that, you know, you just keep going, you just keep pushing through it. That is where the discipline part actually comes in. There are key things that I actually do. I can call it my morning ritual. Yes, I can call it that. Anybody can say whatever they want to say about it, but it's exactly what it is. So there are key things that I actually do, you know, every morning. I do these things daily to make sure that I keep my own sanity too. There's a lot actually going around in the society.
Of course.
That can just drive you nuts. But, you know, so I do all these little things, and that's how I kind of keep my discipline. On the other side of it, because I do swimming, you know, there are few lifestyles that, you know, I can't really get involved in. And even if I get involved in it, I have control over it. You know, I have control over it, and I pray to God that I keep having control over it, because as we grow in life, things changes, priorities changes, and a lot of things actually happen. So, like, this is just me taking you outside the classroom a little bit. So it will be a little bit difficult for you to. Somebody asked me recently, and I was like, "Have you ever been arrested by the police?" And I was like, "Why?"
Will they arrest you inside the water?
You know, so I was like, "Why should I get arrested by the police?" I try to keep myself out of trouble every time. So these are part of things that, you know, discipline actually does to you. For instance, right now, this is me deviating a little bit. I'll bring you back into the classroom. Let's say you're a barber, for instance. You know, somebody who help people, you know, keep their hair cut, keep all of these things. And please explain to me what you're doing outside around 12 a.m. What you're doing around 1 a.m. Are you going to go and barb a client around that time? So there are just some few movements that, you know, you you tend to do as a sportsman that keeps you out of trouble. I know some people live a little bit
on the edge,
but they're just little things. You try to conserve yourself, no excessive drinking. In fact, no drinking. But even if you are going to drink, you keep it contained, no smoking and all these things. So you explain what's my business with the policeman to come and arrest me in the first place? If you stop me, officer, how can I help you?
That's it.
So these are
law-abiding citizens.
yeah, so these are little things. I don't pray for bad things to happen because, and I pray that I keep getting safe. But these are little things that I actually got from the sports. Trying to stay disciplined, stay out of trouble, keep yourself fit, stay mentally, and stuff like that. So
that's quite interesting. I think that's quite inspiring. It's quite inspiring for the younger generation because I'm sure your school, Ocean 28, have programs for younger people too, right?
Yes, please, we do.
That's nice.
Yes. I was going to, in line with that. I was watching some videos on the other day about life skills for babies. They just
throw them into the water. Oh my God, I cringe.
And then you see them floating and all of that.
I cringe when I see those videos.
But even then they're imbibing some life skills into that little baby. So if for any reason they fall into the water, they know to roll on their back
and stay afloat.
Now my question is there any age where it probably is too late to learn how to swim? Do you have to have a certain advantage? I don't know. As a coach, when is there hope for people like
Okay.
Well, the thing is, swimming is something that you can do from months old to age 90 something or even 100.
Wow.
Yes, I actually think, even with research, it looks like it's the only sport that you can actually do to that particular age. With huge percentage of people actually doing it. I'm not saying anything bad about football or anything. Before some people come and get my yeah, but you don't want to come and start doing all of that, running up and down the field with somebody kicking your knees or your ankle off, and at that particular age, your repair level is already low. So
the older the person gets.
Yeah, exactly. So this is more like a less contact sport, so you can easily do it, and it's all about information, timing, and precision. That is how simple swimming is. There's no need for me come and make it all scary. No. Information, timing, and precision. You get these things done, you're able to swim. So it doesn't matter your age.
Fantastic.
That's really interesting.
Okay, I'm going to ask you my last question. I don't know if
we should just
wrap it up right now. Now, again, to the campaign, you're raising awareness for mental health. What is your advice, and what are you telling maybe a viewer who is watching and like, okay, I really haven't been feeling too good, maybe they even had suicidal thoughts, or they're just at that point where their mental health is in shatters, or is not where it should be. What would you advise them, or what is your word to them as they're watching? What would you tell them? What can they do, or what should they do? How can they get help?
Exactly.
Well, two things here. First is for them to do, just as I mentioned, a little bit of money rituals and every other thing. You have to try to get yourself involved, with things that can actually help you up mentally. Make sure that you have the right connection or the right family around. Family doesn't have to be blood related, but just make sure that you have the right set of people around you. That's very important. Now, the top of it all is for you to voice out. Yes, just speak out. If you knock a door 6 times and nobody opens the door for you, knock it the 7th time. If it's not your owner of the house, someone who is passing by will tell you, oh, please come back around this time. So I'm only saying, voice out. If you're actually going through any one of these things, anybody, sometimes to the person you are voicing out to is actually going through tough.
Of course.
We understand that.
Exactly.
That's why I said, if you knock it 6 times, knock it the 7th time. Don't just give up because you asked for help and you didn't get it. Just voice out. Help will come.
Indeed.
Wow.
Very, very important. You know, it's just because we all walk on the streets. You don't know what the next person is going through.
Exactly.
You know, and you never can tell. You might just be the person that would help someone else, and you might just be the person that is listening now and has a change of heart. You know, like, okay, you know, there's something I can do. I think I still have some assignments on earth, or even if it's just to boost my mental health, be strong, you know, to be in this world. You know, it takes a certain level of toughness to be here. Well, thank you so much. We had
Coach
a really very exciting time this morning. We looked at exploring lifestyle changes to improve mental health, and we did have the pleasure of talking with Akinrodoye Dare Samuel, also known as Coach Dre. He's a swim coach with several years of experience, and he has been here to talk to us about this awareness, raising awareness on mental health issues. And of course, thank you so much. We wish you all the best in your endeavors, and you know, all the lives that it has impacted and all the lives that it has touched, it will continue to be so. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
We totally appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Indeed.
Thank you.
All right, this morning weekend continues in a moment. Stay with us. All right, imbibing certain lifestyles to help with your mental health, and swimming is absolutely a great way to do that. And it's not just even about the mental health, it's about your overall physical health. You know, everything that goes on in your body is exercise. It's like a full cardio workout, you know. So I love swimming. It's one of the things that I really want to learn better and, you know, learn properly and really get into, just because of what it does. You know, if there's one sport or one exercise, you know, I'd rather do that would be swimming.
I really wish I knew how to swim properly, because it's such a survival skill. Apart from the exercise, it's a very important skill that everybody should have, right from children. And we're just talking about babies that they teach to swim from as little as 6 months. They're already putting them in the water so they can learn how to float at least. It's very important. With the way things are going, I think it's something everybody should know.
Sorry to cut you in. You know, we were actually expecting Olasumbo Okoromi to sort of call in report from the symposium which she is currently attending. We told you about that earlier. New innovations in the medical field using technological advances, nuclear precision for surgery, especially as it concerns cancer. And she currently is at the Love World Medical Center, which is the venue for the symposium. Hello, Sumbo, can you hear us? Tell us a bit of what is going on at the moment, if you can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Right. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, tell us what.
All right. All right, what is happening right now is the symposium just began, like we said earlier on. This is a special one, an innovative one when it comes to healthcare. It is a radionuclide therapy in the precision health towards the cure of cancer. And it's quite an innovative one, relatively new when it comes to healthcare. And this particular kind of therapy, it is targeted in curing cancers, from prostate to breast cancers and all of those kind of things. And according to research, only like 13 institutions in Nigeria has this kind of technology. And here at the LMC, that is the Love World Medical Center, is, taking this giant stride in going into this therapy. And like you can see on the screen, talking about radionuclide therapy, it has to do with molecular radiotherapy, which is targeted, at using what's it called, nuclear radiotherapy to cure cancer. The concept is of using, this complex molecular mechanism, in curing cancers, and then in making the knowledge of radiotherapy, nuclear medicine as available, to the general public here at the Lovewood Medical Center. And as you can see, the conference is actually in full course at the moment. It's ongoing, and then we'll be bringing you more updates, of course, as the conference continues. We will also be bringing you, later on in the news, in the bulletin later in the day, give you more information as the conference progresses, the technology itself, and then there will be a tour of this particular center, and then talking more about what the therapy entails and how it will be targeted and it will be made available to the general public.
So much.
Hello, Zoe.
I'm going to let you go now so you can attend, be part of the symposium. So you can tell us more about that. Thank you so much. We will see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's truly remarkable.
Amazing.
That's amazing. I always love it when there are new breakthroughs, when there are new innovations, especially in the medical field, because that is one area when it comes to people's health, they don't joke with it. Health is well. So things like that are welcome development, because it means that although the years of research, some of these innovations have been the result of years of research.
Hard work and research.
Hard work.
Yes, that's so true. And some of them have, they get to certain countries later than other countries. And I think it's amazing that we're seeing something happening and happening so close. It just gives hope into what is to come, into the nearest future, and it's amazing. And I really can't wait to hear more updates from that event and to see how it's going.
Totally. And if you have an alternative to the chemotherapy, which for now is still one of the major treatments for cancer, medically, and we also know about the side effects that come with chemotherapy, and a lot of people actually. We won't get into all of that. But if there is an alternative, if there's another way in which cancer cells can be slowed down or even totally killed, eliminated using radiology, using some of these other mechanisms, that's a welcome development, and I'm very optimistic that after this symposium, people will get to know more about it, about its accessibility, availability, and it's just going to be something. It's going to be a beautiful thing for the medical industry in Nigeria. Absolutely. So we will let Olasumbo, I wasn't going to ask her too many questions because she's not a medical practitioner, so there were some questions I would have asked her if she were, but she is there to cover and report the event, so we will get more feedback later on in the day. But this is kind of where we have come full cycle, at least for us here, and you're going to have some more videos, some more features up until 10. But we'd like to thank all of you for being a part of the morning show this Saturday morning. It's this morning weekend. Thank you for all of you. Azubike, who called us from Ogun State, thank you so much. We appreciate the effort you made in calling. And all of you who are watching us right now, make sure you join us again next Saturday for another amazing episode of This Morning Weekend here exclusively on LN24/7. Till then, keep watching because there's a beautiful program lineup coming up after this. I am Zoe McDarlington Esada.
And I am Amaka Daniel.
Stay with us.
Catch the thrills, and all passion of world's biggest sports fiesta. From July the 26th to August the 11th, 2024 on LN24/7 Network. Olympic 2024 game live on LN24/7. Watch all the action as Nigerian stars shine to glory. For ad replacements and sponsorship, call these numbers 081-367-99969, 070-542-81181, and 0802-332-2032. France 2024 Olympics. Games wide open. Faster. Higher. Stronger. LN24/7, where the news goes, we go.
LN24/7 lights up your day with unbeatable shows that guarantees absolute access to stories that revolves around politics, entertainment, and sports. Breaking news, plus detailed reports and analysis. At LN24/7, where the story goes, we go.
Tips on how to keep yourself warm during the cold season. During the cold season, more people are at high risk of the illness associated with the changes in weather. Getting exposed to cold can increase the risk of common flu and other cold-related illnesses like cardiovascular and respiratory diseases. Beyond the subjective experience of coldness, researchers say that natural psychological responses to cold, as well as behavioral adaptation like bundling up and jumping, can help your body increase up to 98.6 degrees in temperature, and this ensures that your body is kept warm. However, everyone should take proper precautions to prevent cold exposure and minimize the risk of illness associated to cold. Here are some tips to ensure safety during the cold. Wear warm clothes during the cold season. Wearing clothes made of wool and cotton helps to maintain your body heat and obstructs cold from easy penetration. Dressing in layers like wearing of sweater, jacket, and scarf helps insulate the body and make it easier to regulate body temperature. Sweaters, blankets, and duvets are necessary household items in the cold season, and this helps to cover the body and keeps it warm for long periods. Limit your time outdoors. More time spent outdoors increases the chances of getting the flu associated with the season, so it's quite important to stay indoor if necessary. Identify and close all gaps in doorways and windows. Use thicker curtains to help the heat indoor and limit cold penetration. This is said to be a more assured way of maintaining a warm temperature in the house. Eat well. Food is essential in the body, just the way water is important in keeping the body hydrated. Food is important when it comes to keeping up energy levels and staying warm. Eating well is vital as it increases the body's production of heat and also makes you feel fit in carrying out daily activities. Eating more of fatty and active foods raises the hydrogen potential in the body, and this is said to help keep the body warmer. Meals such as hot porridge, pepper soup, root vegetables, eggs, cheese, oatmeal, fish, and solid food should be considered when choosing your daily meals. You might also want to consider making your own soup from the scratch. This heats up the house when using the oven and stove in making your dishes. Drink hot liquids. Hot drinks like coffee, hot chocolate, tea in a thermal flask helps warm the tummy internally and brings a warm feeling outwardly. Health professionals recommend warm water and drinks for optimal health as it increases blood circulation along with protecting internal organs. Drinking warm liquids also helps the digestive system, relieves congestion. It also helps mental health and relaxation. and above all, it keeps the body hydrated. Exercise more. Being physically active causes your muscle to contract, and this breaks down more nutrients, which generates more heat in the body. Dancing also helps you warm up, and don't get to the point where you are sweating. Expert says we sweat to lose heat, and sweating will make us colder. Some of the benefits of working out during the season is it boosts the immune system, improves public relations, and burns more calories in the body. Having known the steps, it is quite important that you keep to all measures and stay healthy from illness associated with the cold season. Oluwakemi Adesoye, LN 24/7, Lagos.
LN 24/7 is first of all a news station.
We'll continue with updates from the just concluded governorship in
the southeast.